Hi everyone, Raphael Harry here, and you're listening to White Label American, a podcast where we hear stories from an immigrant or two, sometimes more. Thank you for listening and enjoy the show. Welcome to another episode of White Label American. Thank you all for joining us today. If you are really into this podcast, go on Apple, hit that 5 stars and a positive review. If you're into giving support, go on Patreon, become a patron of my podcast. And big thank you to Rodney, representing Ghana and Russia at the same time, for becoming the newest patron. We appreciate you. Thanks for your support. And hey, continue to bring your friends, your family, and loved ones. They can all support too. Also, you can get our t-shirts at vetclothing.com in your favorite colors. And yeah, go out there, keep liking, loving, subscribing, keep support coming in. It's an independent podcast, so we need all the support we can get. So with that being said, I have a superstar in the house. She's into fashion, she's into media, she's a moderator, strategy consultant, outreach specialist, contract tracer, she's a super mom, she's everything, board trustee on Berkeley College, what name it. She's everywhere. She's one of the people who I saw moderating last year, and I borrowed some of her skill set. So she's an inspiration, and I'm so honored and glad to have Busingye.
Yes.
Matsiko-Andan, a.k.a. Busie. So I almost butchered the name again. I thought I already got it just now, but yeah.
You got it right.
Okay. So welcome to the studio, and thanks for joining us. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, Raphael. I'm really humbled by what you just said about me. I think I need to meet that person.
I'm glad I've met the person already. I've known you for over a year, and yeah, from the first day I met you, I was blown away by your skills. And you know, before older me would have said, "Oh, I'm not going to talk to this person because there was a slight disagreement," but it was still it's not even a disagreement. It was just a little, not even understanding. I would just say, just not
timing. That was COVID times.
Yeah,
when, there was a lot of stuff going on, and we just couldn't coordinate.
Yeah,
properly.
but it was.
But
I don't think it was even close to a disagreement.
No.
But that's why I always still kept in touch, and you kept in touch in your own way. And I'm so glad that we got to be in the studio today finally. So, and you've also helped out this podcast in your own way without even realizing it, because you've been a supporter. So big thank you for coming to the show. So
thank you so much,
let's
Raphael.
dive in to you. First of all, where was Busie's place of birth, and what was childhood like for her?
I was born in Johannesburg, South Africa, and I grew up in Zambia, as well as in Uganda, before coming to the U.S. So I spent my childhood in Africa, and then I came to the U.S. for my young adulthood.
So you grew up in East. So Zambia is considered Southern Africa, right? But Uganda is in the East.
Southern Africa.
Central Southern, and then Uganda is in the East.
Yes.
So you are from Southern Africa, spend time in Central, Southern Africa, and then Eastern Africa.
Actually, patrilineally, I'm Ugandan.
Oh, okay.
Patrilineally, I'm Ugandan, and I'm South African. My mom is South African.
Wow.
My dad is Ugandan. So yes,
Wow.
I advocate for both nationalities because I'm both technically.
So if Uganda is playing South Africa in football, African Nations Cup, who would you support?
It depends on who's the underdog sometimes. It depends on the mood. Or like, so South Africa has gone further, right?
Yes.
So if Uganda was doing very well, I think Uganda should have a chance.
Okay, I like that answer. That's beautiful. So you're a true child of Africa because you have more than one. You're connected to more than one country, so and connected to more than one region of Africa too. So it's
Yes, I am
that's a big
very
spread.
proud of my continent. My continent is my identity, and it has opened doors for me as I've embraced it. There have been challenges whereby people would say, "Oh, if you use an African name, you might not get a job."
Yeah.
I remember when I just came out of college, I was warned about that, and I was like, you know what? If someone doesn't want to hire me because of my name, then I don't think I would want to work for that person. So
Yeah, we'll come back to that. We'll come. That sounds like some juice for later on. So let's go back to your childhood. But even before we go to the next question, there's a different question after that. So your names are all beautiful names. So what are your ethnic groups or tribes that your names come from, and what are their meanings?
So, Busingye Matsiko is actually happens to be a Ugandan name from the Runyankole tribe, Western Uganda. Busingye means peace, and Matsiko means Matsiko is actually pronounced Matsko, which means hope. And Andan is my marital name. It's from northern Ghana, from the Dagomba tribe. And yes, so that is a bit of the history of my names. And I actually also have I have a South African name, Palisa, which means a flower. That's from that Tswana tribe that my mom is from.
Setswana.
The Tswana. So they have Tswanas in Botswana.
Oh,
and they also have Tswanas in...
I was like, that's familiar. I think I'm more familiar with Setswana in Botswana.
Yeah, they also have them in South Africa, but it's also from the same group as the Sutus.
Oh.
And so Lesotho. So Palisa could be a name that is used by the Sutus as well.
Oh, okay. Palisa, flower. Wow. So I love asking this question. Learn so much. Like if I'd known to ask this question before I had my daughter, probably she would have like 7 names.
It's interesting, something interesting. So I have 3 daughters, and they all have English names which have meanings.
Yes.
Plus they also have African names which have meanings.
Yes.
So interestingly, my parents are both from tribes whereby they name kids names with meanings. So that's...
I think that's a common thing.
Sometimes you might have names that identify you with a clan.
Okay.
And then you have those other names that kind of are connected to spirituality. Like the meaning,
Okay.
Yes, and so, but
obviously... I think you just opened my eyes to something that have never considered, because like most of my names, like my tribal names, like mine is Oin Laifa, and it means nothing supersedes God. But I know most of the people whose names that I know, even my siblings, there seems to be something spiritual or religious tied to their names.
Like sometimes a kid who's born after a trying time could be named a certain name. Or a kid, I
have a cousin like that whose mom went through a lot of miscarriages, and the previous marriage was a tough marriage. Unfortunately, it was a very abusive person. And then when she finally married his dad, she was well into her 40s and finally had him. And so I can't recall his tribal
she found
name,
joy.
but the name reflects something like it's his English name is Victor, so you can understand it means she was victorious over that situation.
Wow.
But his Jaw name, which is our tribe, his Jaw name is I can't recall his John name, but the meaning is also something is like to overcome. But God helps you overcome. But but it has to be, and it's a lot of. I know a lot of our tribe converted to Christianity, and I don't know if that reflects in the way we started naming ourselves too.
I think yes and no, but because you also, even in I think with African traditional society, there was religion at the time.
Yes,
and I think
because
they
like if you
refer
compare
to
our
that-
names to like
yes,
Yorubas tend to have like the names that just have meanings.
yes,
And then you can see like if it's like Yoruba and Benin, Benin can have like Benin has a lot more people who practice, like who stick to just their traditional religion. And I think if I were to ask Benin people for the meaning of their names, you don't get like there's this. The meaning translates to literally God did this
That's
or God did that. It's
interesting.
like so. But the way you said it, that's when it dawned on me like, hey, there might be. Yeah, it's possible for names to have meanings, and they're possible for a lot of people to have names to just identify with it, where they're from, and because they're names that I know back when I was a teenager, it's just coming back. It's like flooding in right now. So they're names that I've come across that could mean the soil. Could mean, and that is in relation to where that person's from, or named after the river, the big river in their area, and something like that. And I know I've met people like that.
but there's meaning.
Yeah, it's meaning to it, but you don't. Back then, it didn't mean. You don't take. It doesn't mean. It doesn't. It's not of no importance to you. Like, what is that? You don't. But now it's big. Now
I've found it more interesting as I've gotten older.
Yeah.
At first, I would just think it's just a name.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
coincidental.
Maybe that's why it's always been in the back of my mind to always ask about names without really realizing that it's something that
like Raphael is one of the angels.
Yeah, he's an archangel.
Yeah.
On if you, especially because I grew up Catholic, and when I was still religious, but I had my elder sister had a book of names that I was able to snatch from her without her knowledge, and that's when I saw that Raphael, which is Raphael, where I grew up, was a Hebrew name meaning healing of God.
Yeah.
And our last name, Harry, which was converted thanks to colonialism, from the family name is originally A-R-I, Ari. But they said
Interesting.
the white man couldn't pronounce that for some reason, so it became Harry, which one of my great-grandfathers changed. And Harry is Celtic.
Yes.
A rich, powerful lord. But there are people who I meet here who are from my part of Nigeria, but from the next state from where I'm from, and they think that I'm the Harry from there because that state has like a huge Harry clan. There's a huge clan of Harrys, so they automatically assume that we're from the same tribe, but they're a different subgroup. But they think that's the Harrys, and I'm like, no, I'm not from that Harrys because we're like very small Harry, because we're not supposed to be Harrys. We're supposed to be Ari. But because someone in our group changed the name when he went to school and had to fit in, so he changed the name, and the rest of his children stuck to that.
It's like Andan. It's from the name Andani. It's Andan.
Which is fascinating because we have Andoni. Andoni is in our my area, but the next door state. But Andoni is one of the Ijaw towns. Yeah, there is. Andoni is one of the Ijaw towns. So when you say Andani, that's the first place that came to my mind. Like, oh, I've heard of Andoni. So I don't know, because you always find Ghanaians in my tribal place. In our villages, there's always Ghanaians, and I don't know how. I one day I have to
But
look
you see,
into
that's all
history.
about the borders. Those borders were.
Yeah, it never.
They're not real.
Yeah, it's not real. It's not real. So we've always that's why my grandfather somehow ended up in Ghana.
Absolutely. And that's why for me, I consider myself a global citizen. It's all about connecting with humanity.
Yeah.
Regardless of which country you're from, as long as we connect.
Yes.
And
Yeah, it's beautiful. So, thanks for that beautiful opening up my memory, juggling, triggering my memory into something positive, and that's a beautiful place that I've not been to in a long, long time. So thanks for that. So, sticking with your childhood, what would you consider your favorite childhood memory, and where is that from? And it can be more than one memory. It can be two.
You know, there's quite a few experiences. Growing up, visiting my grandmother in South Africa in Soweto, playing on the streets when I was, I would go there when I was younger, and then in Zambia, I went to an British international school, so I had friends who were from all over the world. And some of them are in Greece, some of them are here in America, and some are back in, on the continent. And so for me, just remembering how we were one regardless of your race, for me, that was powerful. And then in Uganda, of course, just my friends from different walks of life, for me, that was profound, as well as going to the village and spending time with my grandparents, climbing mango trees.
Oh, mango trees.
And then hearing that you're like, you hear a noise and you start jumping down,
You don't really want to investigate. I never had any bad experience on a mango tree.
Oh my goodness.
I don't think I can climb a mango tree now.
I wouldn't risk it now, but I was a pro.
As a kid, I think that it was a competition. It was a flex. You had to show off. You can climb mango trees, and there was
to the top, right?
I think I only made it. There was a tree that I knew I made it to the top, but most times I couldn't get to the top, and I was always envious of kids who could get to like the top. I was like,
I would get to the middle.
The middle was.
I was very cautious.
Because you start looking like, I want to go, but I don't know.
My fear was getting down. That was the getting down thing. So.
Going up is not hard. That's true. Going up is not hard. It's when you want, time to get down, and then you can't tell other kids, hey, can you bring me down?
No.
Who's gonna bring you down?
So for me, that was a memory, It was, with my cousins imagine your cousins coming from different parts of the world or different parts of Uganda, and then you meet neighbors or neighbors' grandkids and that kind of thing who are also coming from other places, and you all convene to do all this.
And there's always that one mango fruit that from down you like.
That's the one. And then there's always that
you need to go get.
There's always that ninja who knows how to get the best, and who knows how to,
Like if you can get to that one mango fruit, there's nothing that would taste like that mango fruit. It's gonna taste like the sweetest mango you've ever had in the whole world that day, because that achievement of plucking it, even if it's not ripe, even if it's not properly ripe, it's still going to taste the sweetest.
Exactly.
Getting up there and getting down, that it adds an extra.
And you won't believe it, I still love mangoes up to this day.
I love mangoes.
I love mangoes to the point that I was in Accra about in May. And as soon as I landed, I looked for specific mangoes.
Wow. So, that's mangoes. Yeah, I used to love mangoes. I did a lot of. I don't know how people used to have like some long sticks too.
Yes.
But
it's how tiny. Interesting. We're from different parts of the continent.
Yeah.
Even the Caribbean, people from the Caribbean also relate to these types of stories. And we're sharing these similarities. Isn't it amazing?
Yeah, it is. It is. But sometimes I think back and I wonder how tiny I was. And when you see some of the sticks that some adults have left there, and you see, I try to replay what it looks like, me carrying this, trying to guard this stick. I want to pluck this mango, and how many unripe mangoes I just plucked down trying to get that one.
But I also learned how to eat raw mangoes as a result.
Who didn't?
With salt.
Did you guys have this? We called it sucking mangoes. In my part of Nigeria, the green ones.
Yes.
They never turn yellow or red. They just stay green. But once they are ripe, once the wind blows, it falls. So
No, I didn't know about these ones.
yeah, they're always green, but the moment it's like the what do you call it
I
that
think
holds the
I know
mango?
them. I think
I've
they
forgotten
know
what
them.
you call
Yes.
that little part that holds the mango.
Like the stem.
The stem, yeah.
Yes.
So the moment that I think that's the part that turns yellow. So, but from far, it's like we start sighting. Oh, that's ripe. That's ripe. And no matter how high it is, it was like somebody would say, "I think it's yellow. Are you sure?" Yes. Yeah. Okay. That's the one. Guide that stick. Guide that stick. I guess that's where teamwork started popping out. Like teamwork. And those sticks were heavy.
But that's how camaraderie was built.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know?
Because there was, the ninjas could just go up and black. So the funniest one was that ninja would say, "Okay, I'm going to get mango," and that person will stay up there. Eat
Or what
the whole
about
mango.
shaking the tree and then or grabbing and then you just grab leaves and you.
Oh.
So.
Yeah, there was also when there was a big storm coming, and it started, the winds, were coming, and then the sucking mangoes. That's when the ripe ones started, because all the leaves blocked a whole bunch of them, so you never could see them. And then when the wind started blowing, then mangoes started dropping. It's just like whoop, boom, 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 boom. So you'll be running. Oh, it hits your head. It doesn't matter if it's hitting your head, because it's a competition now. Everybody's fighting, like, oh, so you're grabbing as many as possible. And then take off. Oh, I got like 10. Yeah. I didn't even know there was up to 10 ripe mangoes. I was only looking at 2 all this time. Then I got 10. Wow. Because you send the ninja sometimes, go get the mango. That ninja will stay up on the tree and eat like 5 before coming down.
Yes, I forgot about that part. People who go up and then they come, and then for you it taught you to source for your own as well, because if you depended on somebody, you end up having nothing.
You'd be like, "Hey, are you coming down?" "Yes." "Well, how long will it? Where are you?" "I'm coming." "What do you mean you are coming?" "I'm coming."
You've cracked me up.
You see the oh, is that the seed that just dropped? Oh, I'm sorry. I was testing it. Testing what? What are you testing? I was checking to see if it was ripe. There's nothing left. Oh, okay. I'll find another one. Okay. It's 10 minutes. Where are you? I'm looking for something. Are you gonna come down?
So we've gone to memory lane. That took you back, right?
Real back. Mangoes. Yeah.
That's funny.
I guess it's similar everywhere.
Yes.
It's beautiful though. It's beautiful. Because there's so much that we learned without realizing that we were learning it at that age.
Yes, absolutely. So, those were learning moments.
Yeah. So you moved to the States when how old are you when you arrived in America?
I was about 22.
Okay, so you were an adult.
Yeah, I was an adult.
Yeah.
About 22, yes.
Okay. So you came, were you already in college, or you started college?
I actually did 3 years of law school at Makerere University in Uganda.
Okay.
And then I
decided...
Kampala.
Kampala,
yes, and I decided to transfer here, but they changed the law in 1982 where you couldn't just automatically transfer into into the JD program from the LLB. So I needed to get an undergrad degree to get into a law program. And my father was like, "I'm not going to let you do a Bachelor of Legal Studies degree, so that in case supposing something happens and you need to go back home, you wouldn't be able to use your Bachelor of Legal Studies degree." However, and they were willing to take on whichever program was willing to take my course load and transfer it. So I ended up at Berkeley College doing business administration. They took some of my credits, and then in the hope that I would end up going to law school. But I ended up enjoying the finance world. And so the rest is history.
Yeah. So you came straight to New York, and you've always been in New York.
Yes, I came straight to New York, but I've always been in the tri-state area, New Jersey, New York, back and forth. I had family also that lived in this area, that had lived here for many years. But yes, I came to New York.
Oh, nice. So was that your first time in New York?
No, I'd been here on vacation before.
Okay, but this
As a
was
teenager.
officially your first staying in New York.
Yes.
Okay.
High school.
So I'll go ahead and ask this question. What was your first shock? Your first welcome to New York, now that you're staying in New York, what was the first thing that was like, wow, this is it? This is, I guess now I'm officially in New York moment.
I one time got a job working as when I was in college, I got a job with my sister working at a restaurant in Harlem called Pan Pan.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow we were waitresses. But man, we're getting below minimum wage. And then I think they used to make, that's what happens in the restaurant world. And then they would give you tips. And it seemed tough. It seemed tough. I mean, we're like, how come we're not making as much tips as we could,
Yeah.
And but it was real that we were working and we're not depending on our parents. So for me, that was a welcome to New York. Like, hey, you're on your own. You have to grow up.
You're an adult now.
You have to grow up.
That was officially.
We actually, you see, my sister and I actually quit that job because we were like, it's not working out. And then we told our dad, we were like, we quit. And we're excited about quitting. I was like, what did you just do? So we quit. Says, how do you quit without finding a replacement? You need to go and apologize to your former boss and say we're sorry for quitting. You don't just quit like that. You have to give notice. So I had some growing up. I grew up as a result of that as well.
Mm. So you walked in. So you guys still went back to the job?
No, we didn't go back to the job.
Oh, okay.
But at least we learned from that.
Yeah.
You don't just quit anyhow.
Okay.
And how you quit is also matters because you never burn bridges.
That's true.
And you know what? The gentleman at the time continued to became a friend of ours because I think he had never expected how someone could come back and apologize for walking off on a job.
All right. So before we continue, let's take a quick break and we'll be right back to get more of the American experience, and then we ask more about your professional side of Busie's life. Hi everyone, your host Raphael Harry here. I can't believe we've gone past our 1-year anniversary of doing White Label American. I've had the privilege of speaking with some amazing people, sharing their modern day immigrant stories. And you've allowed this Nigerian immigrant to share parts of his immigrant journey through this podcast. Also, one of my goals of this podcast is breaking down artificial walls that keep people from getting to understand each other. Based on your wonderful feedback over the last year, I think we have done a decent job in breaking down some of those walls. We would like to continue and expand on this mission, but we need your help. I've had an amazing time creating and producing episodes for this show largely on my own. We have a lot of ideas for new and exciting content to expand upon the mission, but we need direct support from you, our listeners, which is why we have created a White Label American Patreon page where you can make a one-time donation or become a sustaining contributor, where you can get access to exclusive content, help me interview upcoming guests by submitting questions, and even have the chance to sit down with me for a one-on-one conversation, either virtually or in studio. So if this podcast means something to you, and if you really love this show, think about becoming a sustaining contributor and donating by going to patreon.com/whitelabelamericanpod. Thanks for listening and for the privilege of your company. So welcome back and thanks for staying with us. So
Thank you.
you already have given us an insight into changing from law to finance, and which based on the African immigrant parents' background is still acceptable. Back going by the big five that they normally request.
The big five,
the big
okay,
five. Law,
indeed. Accounting,
banker,
medicine,
banking, medicine, engineering. That's what I call the big five. There's still something. The petroleum engineering is that's still engineering.
Architecture, all those fall under engineering.
So
all the others.
There's ways of every other.
The sciences could fall into engineering and
or
medicine.
Yeah. And so, but you still you didn't limit yourself to just being defined by finance. Like by the time I got to know you, I wouldn't have considered you as somebody who's just defined by the finance world, because you're a creative. You are, and I wish when you guys listen to this episode, you go on social media and you see her photo. She's wearing a fabulous outfit, and if you're just the basic finance person, you just be like, there's no colors in your life. You're dull. I mean, there's money, but you're dull. But you're not that type of person. You're bright. You come with fashion. You come with you're in everything. There's media. There's fashion. There's you're full of creativity. So when did you start to you decide that you're not going to be defined by just one sector or one industry, and you are going to open up to others and start embracing other skill sets that you had?
It's interesting you say that. I must say my creativity has also been encouraged by my background. My dad was one of those who encouraged the creativity. I'm from a predominantly artistic family on both sides.
Nice.
But my dad knew how to control it as well. He felt he encouraged me, but he also knew not to. He put certain parameters as well.
Okay. So
he was a very strict person. I mean, growing up for him, he's a lawyer and his father was in prison. So he grew up he has a law enforcement background. So I grew up with strict parents, but I was encouraged to voice out, express myself. Why I say that? My mom said when I was 4 years old, I said I wanted to become a businesswoman. That was interesting, But I was very good, an artist, but I didn't come from a fashion background. Fashion came as a business opportunity, but I love colors. I've always loved colors from when I was a child, putting stuff together. But what I might say, I remember my dad said, whatever you do, I don't care whatever you do, just make sure you do it very well. You excel at it.
Yeah.
But he told me about when he started seeing the creativity coming out, he's like, you know what you can do for me? Just finish your bachelor's degree. Whatever you do after your bachelor's degree is up to you. But for me, just give me the bachelor's degree. That was a good compromise. I think he saw it because he kept on telling me, because I used to challenge him. I said, but Michael Jackson was a superstar. He didn't go to school. I used to have those conversations.
Yeah.
I used to say, but so-and-so has excelled and they didn't even have to go to school. I used to bring up those conversations just to push the button a bit. And he would say, that's exceptional talent. They come once in a while. Not everybody has that type of genius.
Yeah.
It's like, then he also used an example during the Rwanda genocide. He's like, let me ask you a question, Busie. He's like, have you ever thought about who are in the Goma camps or any of those refugee camps? He's like, don't you think some of them were very talented or maybe genius? Have you ever thought of that? I said, okay. And he's like, but imagine the ones who could bounce back more. I mean, those who would bounce back easily would be those who had some foundation in one way or the other, like an education. The education is just a foundation. It can help you in case you need to pivot, in case you need to...
So it's a leg in the door.
Leg in the door, or in case you need to make a comeback after falling down. So that's what he said to me. So for me, fast forward, I happened to turn into, what drove me into this whole different spectrum of what I ended up becoming as a global strategist, as some people would say, was certain situations that I saw that I was not happy about. I have a very good friend. When she completed primary school, I think she was either the first in the country or so. O level, about the same. A level is the same thing. Excelled. Then she also excelled at university, law school, top student. And then even at her master's degree at one of the Ivy League universities, she was one of the best. If not, she was the best in her program. And she, I think, graduated 3 months early.
Wow.
My frustration was she wanted her dream job of working at the UN, and she didn't get it because it was about who you knew.
Yeah.
And I was like, how pathetic can this be? So as a result of that, I decided to start a group called Global Wednesdays in the Meatpacking District, doing happy hours, whereby I would facilitate a networking event. And it was like once a month. And I thought that was one way of putting my different connections in different industries together and giving people an opportunity to meet people.
Yeah.
And I didn't want us as people of color to be limited to only certain areas. But I'm like, hey, you can go to a nice place in the city and still have a good time. We are not limited by geography. So as a result of that, that's how my business partner, the person who became my business partner, had gone to college with me. He came to my event and said, Busie, how about we start all these groups, classically independent, artistically independent, fashionably. We decided to have this conversation. I'm like, oh, fashion indie. That's how we came up with this. Fashion indie happened to be the one that blew up in the media. You know?
Yeah.
There were a number of interesting situations that happened. We had a fashion show that was scheduled to happen, and there were about 500 RSVPs. And just before it was supposed to start, it was canceled due to racial discrimination. And it happened to be in the New York Post, Daily News, all over. And we got on the Tyra Banks show. That was the turning point. So it was a lot of interest, like fate as well, you know?
Yeah.
I think it was just our destiny. God just like, oh, this was meant to be. And then I found a lot of pushback from Africans at the time because they would mock me. It seemed like mocking, like, what are you doing, Busie? Are you a designer? Are you a model? And I knew it was not from a good place but it wasn't because they were being malicious. It was what we had been conditioned to associate fashion as.
Yeah.
So the people who embraced me initially were the G-Train crowd. You know the G-Train crowd?
No.
The Williamsburg hipsters.
Oh, yeah.
They were the ones who were my first clients. And they're very viral. And that's how we, at our around 2006, 2005, 2006, we had about 1 million views per month on our website, as courtesy of the G Train crowd.
Wow.
I mean, those are the influencers at the time, This was before Facebook became popular and even Instagram. So that was a precursor to everything else. But I found in everything I did, I think my ability to connect with people, then authenticity, and also bring out the best in others was what made me excel in different industries. And then with my business background, making us think about what's the bottom line? How do we help others make money as well?
Yeah.
That is why you find me in different industries, interestingly.
And, it's one reason why I'm someone who, I served in the Navy, and thanks to that, I was able to afford going to college.
Yes.
And I did the thing of business, getting a degree in business was never my dream as a kid. But by the time it was time to go to college, I panicked and went, okay, let me go the quick routes where I think that's where the money is. I panicked and pushed my dream aside, but where I had my passion. But why I don't consider the degree that I got a waste.
It's not a waste. Never waste. Nothing
because,
you do is a waste.
I talked to a lot of younger people from back home, and and I always use myself as the example. Like, these are the mistakes that I made, so you don't have to repeat the same mistakes.
Yes.
I'm telling you, I'm doing what nobody did for me, and I don't repeat it on you. And I tell them, like, look, just because I got a business degree and I don't officially plan to be in like the financial industry, does not mean I can't use business anywhere else. I can use it.
Yes.
You can use your degree
in other things. And that's how
when a kid came up to me and he's saying his dream was to come to the United States, work in Hollywood,
and they act disappointment. To someone listening today, don't be disappointed because of the career path you took. It's not in vain.
No.
For instance, the law degree that I did not complete is not wasted.
No.
It helps me with documentation.
Yeah.
Also, the networks that I established during those times. And I can still go back and complete it anytime,
That's true.
Also, with my business degree, it has opened other opportunities. Think about it. That's why I am now a trustee of a business college, a 90-year-old business college. It's as a result of everything makes you. All your experiences make you. That's why that's why I don't like people comparing themselves with other people.
That's true.
Because our journeys are different. Let me tell you something. Someone one time asked me, how come I see, Busie, you worked on Wall Street, but you never talk about your Wall Street background? Yes, I did work for Smith Barney. I did work for Oppenheimer and Company. I worked for Citibank. But I think because of the trajectory that I took, it's not really necessary for me to talk about that. There's a time for that.
Yes.
Depending on what it is.
Good. And another thing I would like to give kudos to is that conversation that you had with your father. It's very important, because I'm on this path now where I'm a dad too. I have a daughter, and I'm all about transparency.
Yes.
Because I did not grow up with a dad, and I will never know my father because unfortunately it's how life worked.
Yes.
And I am always
I see you with your daughter.
Grateful.
Great job.
Thank you. So I'm always grateful when I hear of parents who allowed, conversations to happen. And I love the examples that he gave you, because I was exposed in so many ways to people who, rather than have that conversation, went with the shut up route and do what I say. Do what I say. You don't know anything. I'm older than you. And that only led to rebellion, because one moment they don't have anything else to offer, you just push them aside. But by reasoning with you, he brought himself down to your level and said, look, I understand what you're saying, but how about you check this out? And he showed you something that you may not have thought about, you may not have considered. And just by you repeating that story, I also get a picture that I may not have even considered, even though I am for having a conversation, and hopefully people listening will also benefit from that, because there are so many ways to deliver discipline without the yelling, without the beating, and it's not something that is brand new. It's something that we have done in the past, and I love seeing and hearing stories like this. That's why I love bringing people like you on this platform.
Thank you.
So we can learn from
And to add on to that, I believe it's important to understand our children's strengths. I remember my father said, it's like a parent knows their child.
True.
Which is, when I think now that I'm a parent, I do. I see one of my children is very artistic. And I see the other one is very scientific. But there are times when I've been a helicopter mom and I think toned down my artistic child. But I had to also...
Hey, what is a helicopter mom?
Mom, do as I say.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't think I've heard
No,
that
like,
term,
hey,
saying helicopter mom.
I think there's a place for both. Being strict, but then yes.
There's applications like my daughter will be 3 at the end of next month, and there are times when there are things she doesn't know. And there are times you have to guide them.
Yes.
Because but I give her the impression that when Derek was on the show,
yes,
and Derek talked about his mom always when he felt nobody was holding his mom's hand at the airport, or when they went out together, and he always reached out to hold his mom's hand. It was actually his mom holding his hand, but she always allowed him feel like he was the one reaching out and holding her hand. But that's how, that's good parenting.
Yes.
You make them feel that they are the ones.
To empower them.
That's the empowerment.
Yes.
So that's where, so even in the helicopter mom term, I won't use helicopter. I
think we shouldn't use that. We shouldn't. I said that was a word coin.
Yeah,
that's why I said
But the way, because knowing you, I believe it's that thing like Derek said. You are guiding them, and in guiding them, it's not about the dictator type of thing. No, I don't.
I try to be present with them so that I can easily explain why I say certain things.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting you say that, because today I had a learning moment with my daughter. Kids fight. So she used a word to her sister, which I didn't approve of. Then I gave an example. I said, hey, how do you feel if I said this to you? She said, I don't like it. Then I said, can you imagine how your sister feels? I said, I'm not always around you.
Yeah.
So if I don't tell you why you shouldn't do this, you'll continue doing that to your sister. And then I'm like, that's how even sometimes with bullying, it happens.
True.
If people don't correct certain behaviors, a kid will not know, and they'll use it to hurt other kids.
I agree.
Then she even said, Mommy, I'm sorry about that. And I'm like, I said, do you know why I'm telling you this? So that even though sometimes you can apologize, but if someone doesn't let you know what you did wrong and explain to you, you won't know anything about that.
Very important. I once told a guest that I had on the podcast that for me, it's always about the little details.
They're very important.
I got to a stage in life where I stopped looking at the big, when people with a lot of noise. I don't focus on that anymore. It's just the little details. And my daughter has helped me with that a lot. So when I go to the playground and you see other kids, and if another kid runs and hits my daughter, not even if it wasn't intentionally, but you see something like just a little, like a kid throws sand on my daughter's hair. But the kid doesn't know. Like the kid just thought it's something fun. It's not like the kid. It's nothing racial, nothing. But you see the parents. You see some react immediately, even though it's not intentional. The child was just throwing stuff around, and it happened to hit my daughter. You see the parents who react and correct their children.
Which is great.
Do that. And you see the parents who are like, nothing happened. I don't care. Just by that, you start to see how the little details
Add up.
It add up. Because they wait until something big happens and they're like, oh, I did not know. But I'm like, well, you started setting the example. So if my daughter does something just as little, and I try to, no, we don't do that. That's not
That's
nice.
how you raise empathetic kids.
Because you have to catch it as soon as possible. And I try to do that. And even if I'm doing something subconsciously and I realize, oh, my daughter is just standing there staring at me, and I'm not supposed to do something like this. Why did I do this? I correct myself and I apologize to her too that I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
But even though it's something that I could have just gone about my day, like it don't matter. What does she know really? But they are sponges. They absorb. That's all they do. That's their fastest way of learning right now. They absorb. So I apologize to her first, and I said, you shouldn't do that. I try to explain as best as possible.
That's brilliant.
Because I have to get into the habit of apologizing to my daughter and saying, I'm sorry, I'm wrong.
Ownership.
Your father is not always 100% right.
Yeah,
because
taking ownership.
If I mistakenly, I have my issues that I'm in therapy for, and if I mistakenly, sometimes I might snap, but not like I get angry, but just sometimes I just mistakenly snap at my
You're a
partner.
vet too.
Yes, that's where some of the issues came from. And I just, not like I planned to, but I just mistakenly snapped at my missus. And I realized my daughter saw that.
Something?
I go back and apologize and say, I'm sorry. But I also tell her, please don't. It's not like I'm trying to attack your mom or anything, no. But it's because it's something as little as that, you start learning how to say, I'm sorry. You start learning how to own your mistakes.
I love that. It's so funny you say that because there's a program, I don't know whether there's certain online shows that I've just been watching, and they've also helped me as well in watching all these things. There's Darman as well as, is it Video Chronicles? And they bring up such situations that you're talking about, and also teaches people to see also with veterans, some of the situations when they have like flashbacks and then how someone has changed how they're doing certain things, or there are different life situations. But who taught me who introduced me to that stuff? My kids.
Wow.
My kids. And trust me, that's why when you're telling me this and say, oh, I'm in therapy for this, and for this, it's also, I'm not even judging, and I'm like, oh, you're a vet though, but you're working at it, and it's about
therapy for everybody. That's fine.
Yes, but it's something that's these conversations, but sometimes people don't, if you don't have that foundation, you don't know where to start from.
True.
That's what I'm saying. Sometimes some of these other programs you listen to could help change your mindset. That's why I always believe it's all about willing to listen to others and learning from others.
Yeah.
Being that's students in life,
Yeah, that's one of my mantras too. I'm a student until the day I die. The day I stop learning, I think I'm done.
Absolutely.
There's no point living anymore.
If you don't surround yourself with people who know more than you, then there's a problem.
So, you are married to a Ghanaian, of someone of Ghanaian descent, and you said, what part of Ghana is he from?
Northern Ghana.
Northern Ghana.
The Gomba, to be exact. Yes.
Oh, so that's from like Brian's area too, because Brian is Northern Ghana.
Yes.
Okay. So, your husband's area, you've been there, right?
I've just been to Accra.
Only Accra?
Yes,
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so I will stick to Accra then. I haven't been to Accra. I have family there. I have family in Kumasi. Thanks to my grandfather, there's a bunch of family. I have first cousins and uncles all over. So, your first time in Ghana, in Accra, did that remind you of East and Central and Southern Africa?
Yes, the hospitality. There's this thing when you visit and then you go visit relatives.
Yeah.
We do the same thing in say Uganda and say in South Africa, and also in Zambia they do the same thing. And then also the way, just seeing the fresh foods, the market, then also
that was going to be my next question. Food.
the food, and then seeing the market vendors or the streets, people selling stuff on the streets. But that's hospitality the hospitality that is on the continent is, I've felt it in the other areas as well.
Nice. So now that you've mentioned food, now you have to, this will be the first controversial question. Because one country will have
Ghana
to
versus
between.
Nigeria?
No. Nigeria does not even count in this one. Except you have another husband that we don't know of.
No. I'm just talking about. I'm talking about the Jollof Wars. I'm like, are you bringing me into Jollof Wars?
I was on Clubhouse with a sister who I'll try and bring on the show.
Yes.
She's Kenyan, Ghanaian, but she claims more Kenyan, and so she said it was pilau versus jollof and pilau.
Oh, you know something interesting?
Yeah.
On Saturday, we had both. I went to a new Friday restaurant, Lagos.
Oh,
it's on 49th Street. Okay. And then on Saturday, my East African friend brought me pilau.
Oh.
And so hey, you know what? I make both. I make a mean pilau and I make a mean jollof.
Okay, so
it's comparing apples to oranges. Yes.
I don't know. My daughter likes all of them. But,
yes. So I have a different mood for both.
Yeah.
Pilau is not usually spicy.
There's loyalty. Which one does your heart belong to? Which one wins your heart the most? Where's the favorite from? Is it from Southern Africa? And I also have a question on Southern African food.
I don't like there's biryani, which is more Indian. But I'm not really a big biryani person.
I can't count biryani as African food.
No, but it's now African because it's influenced in the southern part of South Africa. I mean, in South Africa, that is their food. Then also, even in Tanzania and Kenya, they also have biryani. Because think about it, you have 7 generations of Indians in these countries. That's good. So you still cannot ignore it as African food. It is African food. Okay, it's like chapati. We have chapati in Uganda, in East Africa. Pilau is influenced by the Middle East. That is the Oman, Yemen, when they the trans Atlantic. The slave trade from the eastern part, from that Yemen area into Zanzibar and Mombasa into the mainland East Africa. All that is influence from the Arabs.
Yes,
and then as well as the Indians. So that's why you see we have chapati, we have samosas. That is the influence.
Okay.
So yes.
So which one is your favorite? Is it jollof against samosas, chapati?
Let me tell you, I still love my chapati. I love my chapatis, and also love my in Uganda we call them chapos. And then I like the samosas as well. I love samosas. And but I like my food, like I like matoke. Have you heard of matoke?
No.
Matoke is our steamed bananas.
Oh. Is it ripe or unripe?
It's unripe. It's all, yes. We just
but
put
that's
it
not
in
plantain.
banana.
It's just banana.
It's a type of banana variation.
So it's plantain.
It's not plantain is hard for us.
Okay.
Plantain, we call it in Uganda. We call it gonja.
Oh,
it's tough. Yes, that one we can't even, But with our type of banana, it's peeled in a certain style, and then it's prepared in banana leaves.
Oh.
And with banana fiber. So they understand your skill set and how you can be able to tie the bananas in the banana leaves and banana fiber, and then they mash it. But then I like it. We have it with a soup, and like how you have your pepper soups.
Yeah.
And then so a pepper soup, which is kind of like a mix between a pepper soup and a stew. So that's what we eat it with.
Okay.
And I grew up.
I have to
That's
call General Mutombo. He's in Seattle. It's a comedian. That's his stage name, General Mutombo. And say, hey, you never told me about this one.
yeah, Matoke. East
Yeah,
Africans, Kenyans have it, and
It's
Tanzanians have it. Ugandans, so it's more of our staple.
Oh, okay. I've learned something.
More than ugali. I mean, we have ugali
Yeah,
for us.
ugali,
In Uganda, we
I've
call
heard
it
of
posho.
ugali.
But matoke is a big one.
Okay, so well, all the Ghanaians who are disappointed right now, don't write to me.
Oh,
Just
I love my Ghanaian.
go-
You know
go-
what I like
go-
about Ghanaian food?
what?
They
Banku?
have so many varieties.
A lot of it. Still, I don't.
No, we have more Ghanaian.
Which
I
one is
mean,
your favorite from Ghana?
from Ghana. Hey.
So the Ghanaians don't write in and complain. I mean, if they want to still
love
write in,
my
just write to
banku.
Busie. Don't write.
I
to
love my banku
me. Well, okay, I have banku.
and
That's true. I
okra
have
stew.
banku in the
And
fridge.
okra stew.
Maybe I'll go make okra stew today.
And also another thing that I also like, rice balls and peanut butter
In
soup.
ages, I ate rice balls. Yeah, I make peanut butter stew a lot. Yeah. We call it soup in Nigeria.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, and
Yeah,
whenever I go to
they call it
Papaye,
soup, yes,
I
peanut
always,
butter soup.
I always buy. That's what I always get at Papaye too.
Yes.
Yeah, a few times I go there. That's if you want to set a trap for me. That's one of the food you can use to set a trap. But just make sure it's goat meat.
And then also there's TZ from northern Ghana with the soup, with the vegetable soup. That's also nice. Like the
TZ.
TZ is like a ugali, but it's made softer with you can make it with starch like say cassava starch and that kind of thing, and it's
Oh, okay.
it's like a fufu but with corn and
I probably have had that
yes.
because
I think the Hausas are more likely would have that. The
So it's
Hausas
like-
and
okay,
yes.
okay. I probably because I was born closer to where Hausas are, but I'm not from that area. But that's where I was born. So I've eaten a lot more than I remember, and then until I see it, I'm like, I remember this. I did. Then it starts coming back to me. Well, I don't discriminate when it comes to food.
I don't. That's what I'm telling you. Africa food. You're putting me in a hard place.
That's why
when
it's a
you're making me
controversial
choose.
question. You have to
No.
choose. So that once
I
one
told you
will
my
be like
favorite,
this, she's not our person anymore. We are coming.
No.
I'm like, go.
I'm
Don't come to me.
I'm
go to her.
African first. Remember, I largely go as that.
Now African people understand. Okay, so yeah, where do I go? I even lost my train of thought there. All right, so I guess I would just jump into music. So if Busie has to, shake it down for 1 hour, at least an hour, let's say at least. I know you dance for more than an hour, but let's say you had to dance for at least an hour. So let me see, okay. You have South Africa, Zambia, Uganda, Ghana. All right, give me one artist from each of those places that will keep you going for at least an hour.
I don't know.
Oh, hey. Now the protest has begun. They are writing the placards. They are protesting. They are writing to Ramaphosa. They are writing to what's my man's name in Ghana?
I still like my old school 90s music, and then I still love my
I have more old school
my-
South African music.
yes,
Chaka Chaka,
my,
Auntie Brenda.
I'm talking about, then hey, I also like, I love Afro beats as well. I love Afro
The
beats.
new one or the old one?
Me, I just love music beats.
Okay.
I don't really, I'm not one of those people who doesn't really
Yeah,
go by
I mean the new
artists.
one is hot, but I mean
Yes.
the old
I'm
one
telling
is
you what I'm
hot
saying.
too.
You know how there are people who are very good at following musicians? That's not me. I go
Okay.
with sound.
So you just go with sound?
And
Okay.
I just feel I feel the beat.
But that's how I knew.
feel the
That's how
beat.
I was like, there's no way Busie doesn't dance. I knew you did.
I
knew you
do.
dance.
I love my
know you
music.
dance. So that's why I was
I
like,
also used to like Zouk. I like
Zouk is the best.
I like my Kofi Olomide as well. I
Kofi
love that
Olomide.
music.
That man.
So I'm
reminds-
saying back in the day.
It reminds me
you
of
know?
one of my late uncle. It was like that man. That man, don't they sing? He not wait. how many people he have in his band? The boys will come out and start dancing. But my uncle was waiting for the girls to dance. It wasn't the. He will be complaining anytime the boys. We're trying to learn dance moves from the boys. He'll be complaining. He's like, I'm like, hey, this man, your wife is here. We're quiet.
I just like them. I just love the sounds. The sounds
it's beautiful.
and that kind of thing. I mean, very versatile music.
Yeah, I like me. I enjoy music from every part of Africa,
and me even global. I like world music.
Yeah, everywhere. Like,
and I'm a big. Let me tell you something. I'll be on. I also love a lot of my gospel music. I love my gospel music. It just keeps me grounded.
There's a band from Togo, a children's band. I don't know if you heard that. It's in my daughter's playlist. I put them. You might like them. I'll probably text them to you.
Okay, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
Let me see. I'm just trying to mention their name for the listeners. The group of girls who had never played music in their lives, and they taught them how to play different instruments. And
wow, have you seen the Masaka Kids?
Masaka Kids.
You should check them out.
They're Uganda.
Yes, I think they've also done. No, they're dancers, and then they've also been with Eddie Kenzo. He brought awareness to those young kids. Then also, they've become a sensation all over. French Montana has also, featured them. Those kids. My 3-year-old loves the Masaka Kids. The authenticity. You should listen. You should watch them. Your daughter would likely love them.
Yeah, my daughter is very picky right now. It's tough to get on a music video. At one point in time, Star Feminine Band. Yeah.
I don't know them.
It's their band the music is quite good. Yeah.
I should try it. I should check them out.
I think was it last year or year before that I heard about them the first time, and they've been growing with the music.
Great.
So I don't know if I hope they stay with it, but I hope people get, because it's like the more they get better instruments, the sound.
You feel
improves.
that? Okay, that's nice.
But
at least the sound quality
I think
is not
somebody
deteriorating.
donated music equipment to their school, and they got a music teacher who just taught them how to. And those girls just started making it's all a girl band, and they just started rocking, and
that's awesome.
They're singing Togolese and one of Togolese languages, and they just rock it. It's nice.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think you'll like them. All right. So thanks a lot for coming on the show.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. It's been lots of laughs.
Before I officially begin to wrap it up, do you have anything coming up that you like to share, that you like to give us, any projects or any?
Yeah, there's something that I'll keep telling you, but right now there's this trade show taking place in Johannesburg in November.
Okay.
With hosted by South Africa and the Afrexim Bank and the Africa Union. So we're going to also have a diaspora pavilion.
Nice.
And with exhibitors in the continent in Durban. That's around November 15th to November 21st. I'll send you details on that. So I'm actively involved in that.
Yeah, please do. I'll share it, and flyer and all that. I'll share it on my platform.
And then I'll just let you know. I mean, projects keep coming. I mean, I'm all constantly working on something.
I know. I know you. For someone who would like to get into moderating, moderating a panel, what advice will you give to them when it comes to like moderating in person or moderating online?
First of all, I would say, don't be discouraged. Show up, because sometimes people feel like they don't have the experience. Other people are better than them.
Yeah.
Other people speak better than them. They feel, I may have an accent. Just remember what makes you tick. And if you feel that there's that element that makes you tick, you can channel that into the show, regardless of online or offline. But what I will say, appearance, image is everything. Why I say that? You're on a Zoom call or whatever call and you don't think you should look good.
Yeah.
You should, hey, if you're a lady, you can wear whether light makeup if you can, or if you don't need it, that's okay. Just be well groomed, because how your audience perceives you is important.
Yeah.
As well as if in person, the same thing, it's just about how you take care of yourself. Don't go, and then being aware of your background,
Yeah.
the clutter,
That's
just making sure you pay attention to the detail, as you were saying,
Those little
Raphael.
details matter.
Those little details. You might say a shoe is in the corner, and someone is seeing that, right? Especially now that we're
Because
doing
anything
remote.
that those little things can distract.
Yes.
You don't
And
want
people can think you're sloppy, and yet that may not necessarily be the case. So you just put your best foot forward, and just looking online or asking people who you think you look up to, how you can improve. It's willing to learn and willing to listen, being coachable.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we think we know it all, and we might have the information, but it's not getting to the right audience because we think we know it all. And yet, if you talk to someone, they could tell you, "Hey, I think you need to maybe adjust your programming a bit, or should also be willing to pivot. Maybe it's not working out. Be able to, you know what? Let me change from this to something else, and then you'll continue your show also."
I like that. I agree with that too, because it applies to even podcasting. And when I started, I reached out to a couple of podcasters. I got good feedback. Some gave me great advice. And because my confidence was really low, so I had lots
You're
of
doing a
doubt.
great job, I'm telling you.
Thank you.
And it's like the flow, the flow, and you're authentic. You're doing it the way you feel comfortable. Because let me give an example. You have your style that's different from someone else.
Yeah.
And your style suits you, and that's what's going to propel you. And then you just add the other things to embellish. But the most important thing is you're your best seller.
That's true. And I when others reach out to me, I make sure I let them know that I will help you as much as I can, and I let you know that you're doing the right thing by reaching out, because
you're encouraging them.
It's a good people reach. We talk, and don't just believe that you must you must do it all on your own.
Exactly.
When you need help, ask.
Be able to ask.
I still ask.
Because let me tell you,
other people.
sometimes what people don't realize is that actually vulnerability is a superpower.
Yeah, it's a strength. Yes.
Because we sometimes think, if I act vulnerable and ask, people think I don't know. Yet you're not going to improve yourself as a result if you don't ask.
Yeah, that's beautiful. See, that's another reason why I wanted you here, because there's so much gems that you drop.
Oh,
So
thank you. I'm also learning. I've learned so much just being on this wonderful show, and I wish you all the best with it. I'm sure the next time we come back on, it's going to be lit. Continue to being lit.
Thank you. So, this question, I don't know, that the answer you just gave could have qualified for the final question answer, but I will still make you drop another gem again. So, final question: what would you like to leave the audience with? Could be, a line from your favorite book. Could be a line from your favorite song. Could be a line from, I don't know. And you freestyling now. It's just your moment of freestyle.
What I'll say is, sometimes people think giving, if you give, you're wasting time, you're wasting your life. Why? And we always think about what's the return. But this is my philosophy on giving. We're gifts as individuals. And when you give value, eventually success will definitely come to you. And I like to highlight this with the African proverb: if you want to go alone, go fast. You've heard of that, eh?
Yes.
And if
yes.
you want to go far, go together.
Go together. Mm-hmm.
In other words, we should be willing to have synergies and share and learn from one another. Not just thinking when someone comes to you to ask you for something, they're taking something from you. Have you seen situations where someone's like, oh, so-and-so I'm always the one giving, and they're always, why are you always thinking that way? We have to change our mindset from that.
I've done that too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've all gone through that. But you should be actually grateful that the person actually thinks of you as value. And we can think of ways of how we can collaborate and make bigger things. Creating synergies.
Awesome. That's true. Yeah, great.
And nothing. All the stuff you do is not in vain. Someone is watching. Might not necessarily be the person you have blessed. It could be someone else who's ready to bless you.
I knew there were some gems coming. So.
We try, and other people also give us wisdom too.
Thank you so much for that. So, where can people find you? People want to get in touch.
I'm on Instagram as Busie Matsiko-Andan. I'm also on LinkedIn as Busie Matsiko-Andan, and on Facebook as Busie Matsiko-Andan.
Okay, and I'll add all those links to the show notes, and you can connect there and follow Busie, and you'll be blessed. You'll have a lot of learning. You'll be much better off. You won't be the same anymore. So looking forward to the event in November. I'll share that too when I get that. And yeah, so how you say thank you in your language? How you say is that Ugandan or South African?
Okay. In my language, when you say webale.
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 Webale. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Webale Busie for coming on the show. Appreciate you always. And to everyone listening, Webale. And
you even said it the Luganda way, which is Webale. In my other, it's the R, but still, I speak Luganda too, so that's okay.
See, you guys, see. I might have some Luganda roots that I wasn't aware about. But, I'm connected everywhere. So,
yes.
So, Webale, everybody, and keep the love coming in. Don't forget to love, like, subscribe. Go on Apple, 5 stars, positive reviews. Keep it coming in. Join us on Patreon also for bonus content. And I'll see you at the next episode. Thank you for the privilege of your company. Thanks for listening to White Label American. If you enjoyed the show, we'll appreciate if you rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcast from. If you have any questions, comments, or have someone who will be a good guest on the show, or you want to be on the show, send us a message at whitelabelamerican@gmail.com. And make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at White Label American. Thank you for your support.